Sure. Okay, it's 8:12.
To forget.
Should we send it back out?
Yeah.
Yo, look at my arm.
Send me that stop. We're live.
Chill out.
We are back, Black family. We are
Can
just.
you do it? You have a better reason than me.
What's up, Black family? We are back. We are just sending out the live once again for part 2. As we already discussed, Instagram is a hoe, but we're not going to let it hoe us. We are back here for your viewing pleasure. Are you there?
Mm-hmm. Talking about the election of 2020.
Yes, for all of you tuning in, we are about to get into what these candidates plan on doing for the Black community. Which is, well, at least we're going to address the promises they've made towards the Black community and how their views and stances and the policies that they hope to enact would benefit the Black community. Hey.
You got it?
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you.
We appreciate you guys.
Come on in, family. Cocoa Cheerios, welcome back. Oh, Rizzle 99, our good brother. Well, I missed you, man. It's been a couple days.
What's up? I was just wondering if you were going to join. Thank you for joining.
As again, we are back for round 2. We'll be addressing what these candidates have promised to the Black community, or at the very least, how their policies would benefit the Black community. Our good brother Nick Shin is back.
What's up, Nick?
Nick, real quick, we got to finish up that celebrity conversation because I like, at least my celebrities, what they tell me.
Yes, Cocoa Cheerios. I did get that reference, and I want to try them. She said back like spicy nuggets at Wendy's. She hope I got the reference.
Oh, baby, got that.
But I did. I know some things, not all of them.
Ooh, baby.
I'm pretty sure if I didn't go to college, I wouldn't have known it.
We're just sending out the live to the rest of the Black family who will be, we'll be showing up late.
Yeah.
But looks like the gang's all here.
Alright, y'all. Blessings, of course. Welcome. We appreciate you guys for coming back. We really do.
We appreciate you for joining. I don't want to mess up and try to pronounce your at, but blessings, of course. That last one, we appreciate you. Thank you for joining the family tonight. I got a public school education, man. I don't want to mess that up.
Yeah, I'm going to for sure, so I won't try either.
I keep laughing every time I send out this live because I keep passing a person that I know is a Trump supporter, and I'm just like, I'm just like, why are you here?
Nah, send them to give us views. No, I'm kidding.
I want them to tune in, and it's just like, yo, fuck Donald Trump, and then they just tune right back out. It's like, yeah. Gummy Bear is back. Good brother Nick is back. Our good brother Mikey Guzman Jr. is in here. Y'all go follow Mikey Cuts on Instagram. I promoted my brother the other day. Got his barber license on the come up. Barbers in the Black and Latinx community have always been very important. Throughout our history, our barbers are our therapists. The barber shop can be a place of recreation. It's a place of socialization. It's a safe haven for a lot of people. It's my brother. It's on his journey. I appreciate you. 5 years, 10 years from now, I want to see you with your own shop. 5 years, I want to see you with your own shop. 10 years, I want to see you with 2. 3, actually, because I believe in you, brother. Support my brother right there. Go follow Mikey Guzman Jr. Follow Mikey Cuts. I just like promoting businesses, man.
That's what we do.
Like seeing my people win.
Nick said, send it.
It's cool. The mime silence just with the Y instead of an I. See, I figured it was mime, but I was just like, I might be stupid.
Same.
But I was like,
Me too.
Yeah, so to address Nick Shin and like the listening to celebrities and like their opinions, I was gonna say like celebrities in general, no. Celebrities in general, no. Select celebrities, yes. What I want, like to reference Dave Chappelle, what I want in Ja Rule's opinion, no. Would I want a Jay-Z's opinion? Yes. Jay-Z is still heavily involved in politics. Jay-Z used his influence to back Obama in 2008 and again in 2012. And it's not a normal everyday thing. Like, Jay-Z isn't the only popular rapper. Other rappers could have done the same thing. They did not. And that's like, you have to pick and choose. Like, again, we all have our own minds. You got to pick and choose what these people are saying and like what they're trying to like convey and teach. Like a Young Jeezy. Young Jeezy also backed Obama in 2008 when he dropped "My President Is Black." Did I listen to that song? Yes. Would I listen to Young Jeezy? Tell me how to survive the streets? No, because I'd probably get killed. There's certain things that like you have to like use your own mind. Just like, hey, you gotta pick and choose. I believe it just depends on the celebrity. Like Killer Mike, if you watch Killer Mike's trigger warning on Netflix before those white folk cut it off because he's teaching like some good lessons to black people. If you watch Killer Mike's trigger warning, it's a very intelligent brother, very learned brother, including Big Boy from Outkast and Andre 3000 whenever he decides to stop being like the Phantom of the Opera and come out and like actually speak. Like, yeah, like a lot of our celebrities are very in tune with the community. They never left us. There are certain celebrities that I would listen to.
No, Mike said he'll take that challenge. He might complete that for the barbershop.
I don't like that, Mike. Mikey Guzman Jr., as far as like, hey, in 5 years I want him with 1 shot, in 10 years I want him with 3. Nah, it's not Mike complete that. Do it. I believe in you, brother. Our good sister Angelica Maria's in there. We appreciate you, sister. Nick Shin said, but what about the other people? Like the country go Trump celebrities. We look at our culture, but there's way more than good. But I definitely agree, and I love Killer Mike. So at least we can agree there. Trump celebrities, they just be irking me. Honestly. Speaking of celebrities, The Rock came out this past week and endorsed Joe Biden. And just looking at his comments are just like hilarious. It's just people calling him dumb. It's not funny that he's getting death threats, but he's getting death threats. And it's just like, it baffles me that like some fat redneck with diabetes in like Kansas somewhere is like sending The Rock death threats. Like, anyone sending The Rock a death threat is like pretty wild, but it's like, you're poor and you drive a tractor. You're not beating up The Rock. Maybe that's just me. And especially as a black man, of course all his fans turned on him. There was a woman that said like, oh, I'm so disappointed in you. My kids are burning your movies as we speak. And I'm just like, why are you letting your kids set fires? And instead of you stopping the fires, you're on Twitter like tweeting The Rock like, see what you did? My kids are like burning the house down. It's your fault. And I was like,
I feel like that's like when people when players change teams, they burn their jerseys. Like when Nike supported Kaepernick after he was taking a knee and then got booted from the NFL, like they was burning their stuff. Like, this is not affecting these people, right? Because at the end of the day, you still bought this stuff.
Yeah, but that's like the dumbest thing ever. Like, you bought the jersey. You're just burning your own property at this point. Like, what does that have to do with me?
Like, I feel like there's no point to it. Like, at all. And I feel like that's not teaching people to be open-minded either. Because Kaepernick ain't do nothing to nobody but bring awareness to the injustices in the black community. Exactly.
Coach here said, why burn something you bought? Imagine being that dumb. Exactly.
Like, I paid for this.
Okay, so as we move along, we are getting into what these candidates are bringing to, or at least promising, in the black community. In all honesty, I did not look up Donald Trump and his stances in this. I spent my time focusing on Joe Jorgensen and Joe Biden, because simply, even if I was in support of Donald Trump in 2016, which I wasn't, the last 4 years have shown that he's not capable of this. So I'm not going to waste my time even like looking into dude. I'm looking at the other options, because obviously this one is not it. He's been in office for 4 years, and in 4 years we've somehow as a nation wandered back into a civil rights movement. And now I'm just not having it. We had a whole summer of like civil rights movements and like
during a quarantine
and beatings. The protests for George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, none of these have actually stopped. They've gotten less media attention.
Yeah.
So it's been 4 months straight. They've dwindled in numbers state to state, but like.
And can we point out the fact that other countries went to protest as well?
Yes,
because of this.
Nationwide, worldwide, these things are still going on, and it's sad, but this is what we got voted into in 2020. Our good brother Renowned Sportswear joined. This is my opportunity to remind you that you might be in the wrong account, like you said last week.
Well, no, it's not Thursday. Also, but go follow him to get your sportswear, your masks if you're working out. Follow Renowned Sportswear. What's up?
That is right there.
It's difficult having 2 accounts, I know.
Our good brother good sister Gummy Bear said it's cause there's been no rioting and looting, so the media doesn't want to talk about it.
Exactly.
Yes, there's nothing to say. There's nothing but the justice to talk about and the injustice to talk about. They don't want to focus on that.
They don't want to focus on the positive. They always want to focus on the negative.
Our good sister Amara Ellis, hey Amara. The mime silence said the same about Kaepernick first moment. Now people understand the why. People understand the why. We're all entitled to decide who to vote for. It just shows who's really small-minded.
Yeah.
Man. So as I said, I'm not voting for Donald Trump. Even if I was in support of him 4 years ago in the 2016 election, these last 4 years have turned me off and proven to me that he's not capable of holding this office. I hope he's out. Our other options are Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, or Joe Jorgensen and Spike. I believe his name is Spike Williams. So we're going to get into these 2 candidates real quick just to keep you guys updated on their stances for helping the black community and people of color. So first thing first, Joe Biden's campaign intends to invest $70 billion in HBCUs and other minority-serving institutes and provide loan forgiveness for public servants. Which is, we all know, like, loan forgiveness obviously would cool a lot of debt in our community. Also, as always, you guys can join in here. We want to hear your opinions on these stances, these views, these policies they hope to enact. But that's first things first. They want to invest $70 billion in HBCUs and other minority-serving institutes and provide loan forgiveness.
I need that loan forgiveness.
I was going to ask you your opinion on this.
Because it's really hard, like, going to college and then getting your degree and having an expectation of getting a job in the field that you went to college for, right? And you don't have a job in that field, so you're working whatever job you can get, and you have to pay these loans back. And these loans are more than your effing paycheck. Like, how can you live off that? And then you have consequences if you don't pay for the loans. So it's legit like a never-ending cycle. So, loan forgiveness, please. Because I'm stressed out.
Yeah, studies show that after, I think it's 20 years after graduating, Black graduates are still paying over 90% of their loan due to like interest.
Yeah, and that's the thing that gets you is always the interest because it keeps like piling up. It's like, yo, this is never gonna pay down, and then apparently if you pay it all in one lump sum, you still get a penalty. And I'm like, it's so frustrating. Oh yeah, my phone sucks.
Gummy Bear XL said, loan forgiveness is important. Education up to your master's should be free for free or very low cost. Interest is the devil. Interest on student loans is trash. It is trash. I do also agree that like education up to master's level should be free.
I
believe that.
Agree with that. I agree with that.
I believe. So that's like undergrad, right?
Yeah. That's bachelor's. It's associate's, bachelor's.
Yes. Especially if you've been selling people. It should be, but then they can't sell people on the fact that like, hey, you have to go to college to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
Like you want to sell people. Like you want to sell people and you have to go to college to make more money. So then like you convince them that they have to invest in themselves and they have to spend this money.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I saw like black dots on my screen and it's the mime silences like avatar. I was like, what are these black dots? I'm mad with you. Our good brother Matthew Dennis, welcome back.
Coco Cheerio said, I heard that, but is the loan forgiveness gonna work? Because it's been shown that the loan forgiveness programs only accept something like 16% of applicants.
So, do we have anyone out there that's like applied for loan forgiveness and like hopefully they were approved, but have been like denied? And tell us like how that works. So I know in Jo Jorgensen's, in her campaign, I know she wants loan forgiveness as well for, I believe it's for public servants. As to whereas we spoke about it with Talia Jeanette when she was on for our back to school episode, where if you work in like a low income area, which also is usually like a dangerous area, if you go to like a community college and get your degree from there, I believe you're forgiven, but you have to stay within that community or like where they place you for like the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Gummy Bear said, I can't read.
We all know you don't. We all know you don't have to go to college to make more money, though. We all know that now. When we up to high school, like that's what even our teachers fed to us. And I love all my teachers, I really do. I do want it's worth noting that our teachers told us that you had to go to college to make money and like be prosperous, and they were all broke the whole time.
And make something
after they went to college.
All that whole thing. Like even he was watching Moesha, right?
God damn.
And Q was saying he doesn't want to go to college. So like he saw his father, he didn't go to college or he didn't finish college or what have you, but he owns his own barbershop. So he's like, I can do that too. So I feel like if we're given the option, then I feel like we should be able to make that decision instead of being pushed that we should go to college or we have to go to college. Like if we know that we have more than one option, then just leave that to us. Cause y'all not paying these loans, we are.
If you caught my goddamn a couple seconds ago, it was because I read at Coco Cheerio says she has a whole $90K in loans. I was like, shit.
I don't have that much, but it's still a lot.
Coco Cheerio said, I don't regret going to college. I don't believe anyone should regret going and getting their education. I know people regret like the debt that they're in because of the education. So I don't regret going to college. I love my experience and what I went to school for, even though that is not my current field. Hopefully like the education that you got and the information that you have can probably help you in the field that you're in now. I feel like people don't usually stray that far from the field unless it was something that they just hated getting into. Andre Uncle said we got scammed by DOE, selling us hopes and dreams through a corrupt system.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Say it loud for the people in the back.
Yes. Did I miss something here? As our good brother Nick Shin said, trade school has been amazing. I couldn't finish regular college, but working towards something for a real job is way better. Yes. And these are, I will get to them. Those are also points made in Joe Biden and Joe Jorgensen's campaigns. Do you have anything?
I just wanted to say Nick said he was denied because he didn't graduate and only went for 2 years. So I think it was for the loan forgiveness. Right?
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I should apply. So do they do federal or they do private? Because some private loans is
So
BITCA.
So if you guys know, give us that answer out there. Next up, Joe Biden's campaign hopes to invest $3 billion to assist small businesses. They want to give $3 billion to the state small business credit initiative to assist small businesses. I wrote down my own black thoughts and I just be messing up. That's what I was saying. They want to give $3 billion to the state small business credit initiative to assist in small businesses. We have been talking about black businesses, small businesses, local businesses for the last couple weeks. As I said, these are not like promises that are being made to the black community. This is not, well, they do pander to us, but these are things that would benefit the black community. We see how Donald Trump's presidency has treated small businesses, especially in these last
6 months.
I'll say 9 months through this pandemic, where hundreds of thousands of small businesses have closed because there was no because there was no contingency plan for them. If they want to give $3 billion to help small businesses get up and running, to keep running, to give like insurance to their employees, I am all for it.
You heard that, Angelica?
I am all for it. So see, this is an up and coming black business. I said Talia Jeanette out there, up and coming black businesswoman. Andre Encore, up and coming black businessman.
Rogue Whites.
Rogue Whites out there. Nick Shin, independent contractors like us. I'm all for it. Our brother Nick Shin said.
He said both. Your best bet is to first apply through the FAFSA site, but stay on their booty like it's the unemployment department. If you graduated, you should be good or partial at least.
That was for the section of student loan forgiveness.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm going to talk to you on the side about this, okay? Because I got more questions.
Nixon, there's a section on the site for loan forgiveness once you graduated. It's just mad tedious.
I've been out for 3 years now, though.
So maybe you gotta navigate the site. So we will get on that because I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people that want to inquire about loan forgiveness. Obviously, and for all these points, obviously we want to hear you guys' thoughts on it too. Shut up. Healthcare. Biden's campaign wants to build on Obamacare. He also tends to address the high mortality rate, which affects women of color the most. That is a huge point for me. So he just wants to address the nation's high mortality rate. I believe we have the worst in at least the worst in modern medicine. I don't want to say the worst in the world if I actually don't know the statistics, but the nation's mortality rate, maternal mortality rate here, highly affects women of color. Mm-hmm. So it's maternal. Is it maternal mortality rate? Mm-hmm. That I'm trying to say? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's
one of the reasons why, if I do give birth, I don't want to do it in a hospital. Because I do not trust them enough to keep me alive.
Yeah, we see, it's not a trend. I wouldn't say it's a trend. Because obviously we came from midwives. Mm-hmm. Especially our grandparents, especially if they're from the South, a lot of them were born in the house to a midwife. Mm-hmm. Women of color are 3 times more likely to die during birth.
We're going to actually do an episode on this, so.
Yeah. So, Obamacare would obviously give us all access to better health care. She's there again. give us all better access to better health care. Biden hopes to provide the choice to purchase public insurance like Medicare and automatically enroll individuals in the public option without a premium who will be eligible for Medicaid but can't because their state's unwillingness to take up Obamacare Medicaid expansion. What?
I just remembered something, but Coco Cheerio said that trauma. Yeah.
Coco Cheerio said had a traumatizing experience in the hospital after risking out of my birth. We apologize. We're sorry to hear that. I'm sorry you had to go through that. I'm happy that you are still
with us
here.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Well, if you were to give birth again, would you opt to use a hospital or to do it at home with a midwife if you have the option? I just want to ask it. Obviously, you don't have to answer. Obviously, we're friends. I had you away. What do you do?
Yo, stop scrolling. It's there.
Just take that.
Nick said, "See, I trust Erykah Badu to deliver a baby. That's a celebrity I trust."
Yeah, she just delivered Tiana Taylor's baby and Iman Shumpert's. That?
Yeah.
Going back to most of my doctors are of color. I don't take kindly to doctors not taking my issues seriously. Yes, whether it be therapy, primary care, dermatology. I would prefer my doctor be African American, or at least a person of color who are more willing to listen to me, more relatable. It's just. Too. I just like to have comfortability. I was gonna mention this earlier with Mike when we were talking about barbers, especially the barbers in the Black community. We mentioned this last week that barbers and beauticians were blew up during the Jim Crow era because first things first, blacks had no options but to go to their own because they weren't allowed in white establishments. But then also, as I said to her, picture you're black, you need a shave. There were no clippers in the 1930s, 1940s and stuff. Can you imagine being a black man in 1930 and going to a white barber and allowing him to put a razor to your neck?
No.
I don't like seeing white people with forks. I would not let a white man put a razor to my neck. Our good sister Shelly Shells, good to see you tonight, sis. We are breaking down Joe Biden and Joe Jorgensen's campaigns and what they can do for black people since they are pandering for the black vote. We just broke down $70 billion to HBCUs and other minority-serving institutes, and building on Obamacare, addressing the high maternal mortality rate in this nation, and allowing people to be able to enroll in Medicaid if they're eligible, even if their state hasn't adopted the Obamacare and Medicaid expansion, which, as we can see, which is another special coming up, black people and health, mentally and physically, is a big issue. For black men ages 1 to 44, homicide is the leading cause of death. Once you get past 44, it's heart disease and cancer. And that's just black men. So us even making it, even I was gonna say out of our youth, 45 is pretty young. But us making it out of our youth into our twilight years safely and healthy is a task, and we need to put an end to that. Health and if we can the biggest issue with health insurance is affordability. Mm-hmm. So if we could be able to tackle that, that would be important. Mm-hmm. Also, so while we're on the subject, in Joe Jorgensen's campaign, she wants to make health insurance companies be able to compete with each other, to where they would have to lower prices and have to offer better services if they want to keep not just patients, customers. As we can see so when I was reading, the prices for LASIK eye surgery and plastic surgery have gone down, and the quality of these services have gone up because they are not covered in most health insurances. And the reason for that is because if you are an eye doctor or a plastic surgeon, you want to acquire as many customers / patients as possible. You would do that the same way any other business would run. I offer a higher quality of service at a lower rate. Whereas with insurance companies, they're all making you pay for the same things and they set their own rates. And then they can lower or raise these whenever they want.
Yeah.
Whereas just like whenever I apply for health insurance through the state here, they literally just tell me, they look into like my income and then they just tell me to pick who I want to cover me. Whether it's Health First, Metro Plus, Blue Emblem, and literally when I ask them like, hey, like what's the difference? There is no difference. It's literally just, hey, pick one of them, they'll cover you. There's literally like no difference. They're all gonna cover the same thing. They're all making me pay for the same things, whether I need it or don't need it. But in Jo Jorgensen's campaign, she wants to make it so that it's a customer-based system where, as a patient, I should be able to pick and choose what I want coverage for. The things that like I know I need coverage for now. The things that like I'm in risk of that I might need coverage for later. Where it's like that I may need coverage for later, instead of like things that like this is all just covered whether I need it or I'm gonna need it or not. A good sister Gummy Bear XO said health insurance is so expensive. Between the monthly payments and the deductibles, it's robbery.
Yeah, I have a friend who was she works in like the healthcare industry, and she was saying it's a scam. Like, why do you have to pay, for medical, dental, and vision separately?
Yeah, like my eyes and my teeth are a part of the same body as the rest of me. Why is this not covered?
Right.
It's like literally like, so if I get into a car accident, I live, but like my whole body is mangled. It's like, hey, we gotta fix your kidney, we gotta fix your liver, your teeth. I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like it's in the same body. Like why are these things not covered? Like, I didn't realize that, like, it's fucked up to say, but it's this country. Eyesight, you're telling me eyesight is a luxury. Like, eyesight is a privilege to see. To be able to chew is a privilege. And it's just like...
Because, if y'all don't know, like, I have very bad eyesight. Like, my eyesight is bad.
She can't read these comments. I'm flying by myself.
I'm just slow. But no, my eyesight is legit bad. Like, if my glasses weren't on, my contacts weren't on, like, I could not see this phone 2 feet from me. Like, that's how bad my eyes are. So, like, if I wasn't covered, I would be SOL. Like, I just won't be able to see. Like, I wouldn't be able to get glasses. Because if I just had regular insurance, they're not going to cover for me to get glasses.
I apologize. She said she'd be SOL, and like I was trying to define it. It's straight out of luck. Shit out of luck.
Yeah.
There we go. I was like, she confused the hell out of me. But while we're on the subject of like insurance companies, in Jo Jorgensen's campaign, so Jo Jorgensen is the libertarian candidate, which I should have said from the jump a while ago. Jo Jorgensen is the third-party libertarian candidate. Along with like healthcare reform, she also wants to limit power to, if not completely abolish, the FDA, which is the Federal Drug Administration.
Mm-hmm.
Just based on the facts that of their practices. Firstly, it takes $1 billion for a company to bring a new drug to market. So with that level, with the level of that expense, and I guess this is Luna Bombay. How you doing tonight? Proud of you. So with the level, with $1 billion to bring a new drug to market, and the fact that like their processing of approval can take up to 10 years or more. She wants to make it more affordable and like a sooner turnaround time for new drugs to be able to hit the market, to be able to help people that they need to help. New drugs and new procedures to be approved that can help people without having to go through all this man-made red tape of like having to like some $1 billion to just even introduce this to the market. So those are Joe Biden and Joe Jorgensen on healthcare reform. Next up is Joe Biden's campaign wants to triple funding to schools with low-income students.
That's all of New York City.
Packs schools with mental health professionals, which is very much needed in schools with people of color. I will say black schools.
I like that.
And wants to invest in approaches to recruiting teachers of color. So we'll work backwards here. Just like with black doctors, a good sister Gummy Bear XO said like most of her doctors are black. I will say most of my teachers are black, and that was good for me to have like this person looking back at me and spitting knowledge to me that looks just like me. That's like in a suit and tie every day, and it's a good image. Are you trying to read it?
I thought you wanted to look at it. I thought you wanted to look at it.
No, I apologize. So having a teacher of color, I believe, is like important. Just to have like at least like someone to like look up to that I know for a fact is knowledgeable, even if it's just for the point of like, hey, I know I don't have to sell drugs or play basketball to get out of the hood or just rap, because I can also be a teacher. Good sister Coca Cheer said a lot of my teachers were white until I got to junior high school and all the white people moved out of Canarsie. Yep. There you go. My 4th and 5th grade teacher was a white woman. I had her 2 years in a row because like in 4th and 5th grade I was in like the top classes in my school. And in 4th grade we were the top class. In 5th grade we would still be the top class minus like 3 people would like move out and 3 people got brought in. So they just kept us together, and they were just like, hey, it's the same group of students, you just stay with them. So she came with us to like 5th grade. That's the only white teacher that I had. And then I got to high school and there was a dude, I think his name was like Mr. King. And he was terrible. He was like dead. Like he was like, what happens when you let white people in Wakanda? Like he was like terrible. And like I remember like the math teacher cursed him out one day because he was messing with the track students, and she was married to the track coach, so she was like basically like these are like her kids too, and she's just like nah. She went full like Zuri on them and just like pew pew.
Talia Jeanette said my primary care is Indian. My
GYN.
Okay, I was trying to. It's Black. The Indian doctor hates giving me meds. She is really holistic, but I had to beg the other day for meds for my back pain. My gyno please. She's like an aunt. She reads me.
Talia Jeanette also said, I had mostly black teachers. I don't know how people who grew up in the hood didn't have black teachers.
I agree. I had a mixture, like Gummy Bear said. She said my teachers have always been a mixture of black and white. All were good, especially one teacher of color who told us we weren't ish.
Wait, what? My teachers have always been a mixture of black and white. All were good, especially one teacher of color who told us we weren't shit. Ugh. I'm sorry you had to go through that. Was it Mr. King? We went to high school together. The one teacher that told me like I wasn't gonna be anything was like a black dude. He like apologized to me later because I threatened to fuck him up. But he still apologized though. Like it's worth saying.
You have to threaten him though.
Yeah. And like everyone had my back too, but it was So that I was gonna say that's the importance of having black doctors. I know what people are like backtracking a little bit. Mr. Destine, I see it. Yep. Yeah, I remember this. Mr. Destine, I remember him. But who was this? Talia made a point about like one of her doctors being Indian, and then her gyno being black. The Indian doctor, like, hey, like, in Indian culture, they sway more towards holistic medicine than we have in like American culture. And we are black, but we are Americanized. We're unfortunately born here because they dragged our ancestors here.
Like,
but
he hates me. Like, I don't like to take medicine. Like, if I have a headache, if I have cramps, like, I don't like to take medicine. I like to naturally get rid of it. Like, go to sleep, eat, drink water, whatever. And he gets mad at me with that. He's like, just get rid of it now. And I'm like, well, usually it doesn't even work. So I'm just harming my body that way.
Yeah. So I honestly want to, like, go more towards her. Like, she's becoming more like me, and I don't like it. I'd rather her, like, go her direction. Like, I would rather lean towards holistic medicine more than anything. But, like, these are things that, like, work in her culture, but, like, may not work for you now. Where she's, like, trying to, like, change, like, your treatment to a way that, like, she feels would, like, help you. Like, so aside from, like, what would actually help you right now in the moment. If she wants you to try something new, like, later, that's fine, but we need to heal this now. So, like, having a doctor that's, like, and then, like, she may have just felt like, hey, like, you're just being, like, unreasonable. Because she knows these things work for her and, like, her culture. They don't always work for us. Yeah. Especially, like, when we've spent, like, 20 years on, like, biology and, like, chemicals and shit like that. Our bodies aren't gonna just, like, acclimate to holistic medicine overnight. And overnight could be, like, years.
Yeah.
Like, it's like...
I had this one doctor. I had to get my wisdom teeth taken out, and he didn't give me like medicine like how like, people usually get like pills for it. He didn't give me any. He was like, "Yo, just take Tylenol."
Yep. See, the pills. She definitely needed the pills that she gave you.
Yo, that Tylenol didn't work.
Look into holistic medicine for your back. Actually, look into acupuncture. A chiropractor.
Stretch. Like, I had back pain too last year.
Yoga.
And like once I started stretching more, doing like more abs, like my back started to feel so much better. I think it was because it was just tight, so I had to just stretch it out. So try that. So I've done both.
We gonna get up with you, sis. So that's one of the points. So we're talking about. Coco Chiro said, holistic medicine is everything, but I'll be quick to pop a Tylenol. Like, let me smear on this Vicks, but also this cough syrup.
Well, Vicks is like everything, though.
And then Shelly Shells popped in and said, Vicks works for everything. And, like, in my head, I was thinking, nah, Dayquil works for everything for me. Vicks owns Dayquil and NyQuil. It's, like, on the package now. I just noticed it, like, a couple of days ago. Vicks dead works for everything. I was like, is that what we on? No, we were on like triple funding to schools with low income students and mental health professionals in the school. So we touched on teachers of color and their importance, mental health professionals in school, the importance of those.
What? Oh, mental health in schools?
Mental health professionals in school.
Yes, I had this kid in high school, and I felt like he had anger issues, and I felt like he just needed to talk to somebody. Like, he wouldn't fight no one, but, like, he literally broke a glass. Like, you know how, like, the doors have, like, those little window glasses?
Yeah.
He punched that. Broke it. His hand was, like, bleeding everywhere. I felt like he literally just needed to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Like, guidance counselors are okay, but they're just to guide you to what direction you want to go in life, not to really talk about your problems. Like, I had this one guidance counselor who, like, I was sent to her, and she literally talked the whole time. I didn't say anything. I was like, why the F am I here? She's just talking. Like, I'm not saying anything was wrong with me. She just living her best life talking to me.
Coco Trio said, let's get cops out of our schools and get mental health professionals who are certified and who care. Yes, because if we have students who are less anxious, students who are less depressed, students who aren't as hostile, we don't need those police officers there.
Because the cops are more quick to like react more like in a harmful way than they are in a good way.
Police aren't trained to diffuse situations. They're trained to shut down situations.
Yes, that's what I wanted to. That's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah. Before we get, Coco Cheerio said, also professionals who understand our community. Putting a fresh, young suburbia white person in Brownsville isn't working. That's what I was gonna say, to the point of like Tamika. I believe it was Gummy Bear that said earlier that like all her teachers have been black. She doesn't understand how like we came from the hood but didn't have more black teachers. I think this is more something that came up during like our generation, where usually it was like gentrification in schools. Like teachers would come from they would bring teachers from out of town, and like they'd be like applying from other states, or maybe they just went to college in this state and stayed here and got schools here, and our communities would always be hiring. But like, so that's how we ended up with more white cheese than black. So just to touch on real quick on like the importance of mental health professionals in schools from like my own personal point of view. So I sat with like I had anger issues when I was a kid. So I sat with like my guidance counselor every week from 2nd grade all the way up to about 7th grade, because my junior high school was in like the same building. And I had been with that guidance counselor for so long, there was just like, hey, just let her keep him because like she's good for him. And then like it stopped in like somewhere in 7th, but in 8th grade it picked back up. So this is just the importance of like mental health professionals in schools from like my own personal point of view. Whereas like my guidance counselor and my 2nd grade teacher saved me from special education. So I don't even know if you know this story. So like my English was like really showed up in like school when I moved to Bed-Stuy and I was in like 2nd grade. So after I had got done with like 2nd grade, I was like in fights all the time, in and out of the principal's office. Like my work was like lacking. So by the end of 2nd grade, I did enough work to pass, but they also had special ed there. So I believe like the principal, who had later got removed, wanted to put me in special education. And my teacher and my guidance counselor literally, like, they fought it for me. I had no idea this was happening. It was just like that, like, my mother got called up to the school. But for me, she was always up there because I was always fighting. So this is what, like, that meeting was about. Like, they were telling her that they wanted to put me in special ed. Keep in mind, I had already been adopted at this point, but she had taken in a lot of foster kids years and years and years before me that came from like broken homes, had been abused, and had like disorders and like trauma that ended up in special ed one way or another. So when it came down to me and they were telling, and like the principal was like, hey, I want to put her in special education, it's not something that she necessarily fought because she had been there with the other kids who had been in my situation. But the mental health professional, my guidance counselor, who I sat with every week, who had taken the time to actually speak to me and get to know me, and God bless her heart, my teacher, who would actually watch me in class and like pay attention to like the situations that I was getting in, sat there and fought for me like, no, he doesn't need to be in special ed, he's just angry. You don't need to go put him with the rest of those kids who like actually have problems, and that's also putting me in a situation that I don't need to be in, and is also taking away from them. Whereas a special ed teacher in a classroom of like 10 kids, 9 of these kids actually need help. Number 10 doesn't. That's 15 minutes spent on me that could be spent on someone that actually needs the help. So like that's the importance of like having a mental health professional in school. Where it's like kids, like all this fighting could calm down if we had someone there that actually knew how to like mediate and diffuse situations. Imagine if the bullied kid could like had someone to talk to instead of a gun dealer. I'm not talking about our community. We don't do that in our community. We're talking about them other people community. But imagine if they had someone to talk to outside of like their firearm forums online and like gun dealers. And there we go. So we are speeding through this for the Black community. What?
The my son said, I didn't know how to read until I was in the 6th grade. My mom thought it was a good idea to put me in Catholic school. Not. LOL. But I had a very awesome teacher who sat with me for tutoring. Wow. That's really good. I feel like...
I'm happy you made it out of that, brother.
Yeah, and I feel like there's not enough teachers like that. Like, there's teachers to just be there to just get you by, but not enough to that's going to actually sit there and help you actually progress. You know what I mean? I feel like there's not a lot of teachers like that.
So, as far as like the 2020 election and what Black people are looking for, and like what Joe Jorgensen and Joe Biden's campaign can do for Black people, they are both heavy into justice system reform. One of the things that like jumps out is that Joe Jorgensen wants to pardon federal level drug convictions and allow the medical community to deal with abuse. She also wants to defund federal involvement in policing, which would mean like, hey, the next time Donald Trump wants to say I'm sending the military to like New York or like Kansas, the state could be able to stop that. Where's it? Going back, Exo said, yes, very true. Tutoring should be regular with education, not a luxury.
Yeah.
Coach said resources equals funding. Yes. And they want to donate $70 billion to, well, that's the HBCUs and other minority serving institutes.
I feel like we also need funding down here though, like in
yes.
elementary, junior high, middle, like all these schools, so we can get to college. Because without the funding down here, we ain't gonna get to college.
Also, yeah, so Joe Biden's campaign wants to triple funding to school with low-income students.
Oh, yeah.
So those are the resources that we would need. Also, Joe Biden wants to provide funding to 2-year colleges and other high-quality training programs without debt. So that would be community colleges and to provide funding for trade schools for people who want to go that route.
Which is smart.
We do need more electricians. We do need more plumbers. These are things that like, what is it? Not, I want to say workmen. What Jesus was. Somebody tell me what Jesus was. Carpenter. There we go. Jesus was also great. There we go. All of these are like fields that like they're never gonna like, I want to say go out of style. I know that's wrong. These are all professionals that we will always need. I think it was Master P was the one in this last. Well, I saw this in the last week. Thank you. I got it, Carpenter. So to shine light on the importance of trade school, Master P said everyone wants a nice house, right? I know you want a nice house. I do. Nice houses are expensive. There is worth in the person who can build that nice house for you. Like that is, and that was like so deep and shit to me. So it's like, yeah, like I want to buy like a nice house, and even for people that like, some people want to buy a house and then make it their dream house, or they just want to flip houses. You need a contractor to do that. You need a carpenter. You need an electrician. You need a plumber. You need all these people. This is the importance of trade school. Barbers. Barbering is not barbering. It's never gonna go out of style. We will always need these professionals. Beauticians. We will always need these professionals, especially natural hair beauticians. Someone needs to corner that market. Natural hair beauticians, someone needs to corner that market.
Let me know.
Well, he's got to move on now.
Yeah, we got like 5 minutes. Let me know.
As far as justice system reform, Jo Jorgensen wants to decriminalize all drugs federally and encourage states to do the same. She wants to pardon federal level drug convictions and allow the medical community to deal with abuse. She wants to defund federal involvement in policing. She also wants to, which is an issue that many people don't know about, she wants to end asset forfeiture in police departments. So basically it's where, like, when you're arrested, the police can basically, like, steal things, like steal, like, your property. Certain things, like, get lost. If you don't claim them in a certain amount of time, they can just keep them. And these things, like, they just keep these shits, they sell these things, you can use it to, like, fund their department with it. She wants to end that. She also wants to end no-knock warrants in the wake of Breonna Taylor's death. So, state to state, I am in support of this. And she wants to, very important, she wants to end the supply of military equipment like tanks and tear gas to federal, local, and state police. Yes. Police officers should not have access to tear gas.
Or tanks. What the thing?
SWAT teams, I don't even think I agree with, like, SWAT teams as, like, a thing.
Me either.
Like, if it comes to the point where, like, you need military grade weapons, a military battalion should be brought in.
Right.
And I don't think these things are from, like, the local, like, station or, like, a fort. I don't think these things should be on hand for, like, police officers.
Right.
Where they're, like, they don't have military training, but they're using military grade weapons.
Right. That
doesn't make sense to me. That sounds fucking crazy. But, yeah. Also, Jo Jorgensen wants to ensure housing upon reentry to society and expand access to mental health treatment, substance abuse treatment, and educational and job opportunities during and post-incarceration, which we will be addressing more on our episode on justice reform and police reform. Having housing, mental health treatment, substance abuse treatment, and opportunities for education and jobs while in prison and once they get out is very important. Because, like, it's like how they assimilate back into society. Especially when it's like there's people on, like, parole or probation.
They have to get a job.
You have to have
a place to stay.
You have to have a job. You have to have a place to stay, or they can put you back in jail.
And you can't go back to where you were that got you in jail.
Yeah, and I think that's, like, wild. Like, that's, like, crazy. It's like you're saying, like, for me to be released or stay free, I have to have a job. I have to have my own place. I have to have a place to live. Why are you not helping? Why are you not helping me provide these things for myself?
Because it's a cycle that they don't want us to break.
Yes.
And that's why I feel like prison is a scam. Like, it's rehabilitation, but the recidivism rate is extremely high. Our
good sister, I know you love Steph. Thank you for tuning in. Instagram is being a hoe again. We're just breaking down the Blak book. We will be back right quick with our closing statements. So we want you guys to tune back in for that. Just real quick. Joe Biden wants to combat racial, gender, and income-based disparities in the justice system. He wants to create a $20 billion grant program to spur states to focus on crime prevention and reduce incarceration populations. The same thing as, like, having, like, job placement available, mental health treatment available, and, like, housing for people post-prison. Having programs in place for these same things before prison is imperative. If you can assist me in, like, providing food for myself and providing housing for myself, I don't need to go out and rob and steal. There's not enough tension in this neighborhood. Like, we're all prospering, we're all doing well. There's no reason for us to beef to where, like, we have to kill each other. Mm-hmm. So having these things in place where it's like money is, like, the motive for, like, everything, especially, like, theft and, like, death. Yep. So if we can, like, help people work their way around these issues, there would be less crime. These are the things that Joe Biden and Jo Jorgensen are working on in their campaign that Black people would benefit from. These are our Black thoughts on the subject. Again, Instagram is being a hoe. We will be right back to give you our closing statements. So, bring your black ass back. Peace. We're coming back, though.
We coming back.
Let's talk about coveting your vote.
We coming back.